Here we go, loading into the map, perfect timing too. And we have the Lizardmen. And look at this, guys, 4 units of Chameleon Skinks. Guess we'll see if the Wild Rhinos can catch them out. Other than that, we're going to see 4 units of Skink Cohort with Javelins, 3 units of Saurus Warriors with Shields. Make that 4. He is then going to have a unit of Cold One Riders. And then to round out this Lizardman force, we got a Bastillodon with the Solar Engine. We got a Skink Chief. I don't think he's going to have anything on him. And a Skink Priest of Beast also on foot. I'm going to have Transformation of Kadan and a Wissen's Wild Form. For the Big Papa leader, we got a Saurus Old Blood on top of a Carnosaur. Saurus Old Blood's going to have Stand Your Ground, Amulet of Itzel, as well as Foe Seeker. Now, that rounds out the Lizardman force. Let's take a look at what the Wood Elves have brought here. And look, players both going to start on opposite sides of the maps from each other. So for the Wood Elves, in terms of the infantry, we're going to have 3 units of Eternal Guard and 2 units of Dryads. We're also going to have the Wardens of Sithral, ROR Wildwood Rangers. These guys pack quite a punch, and they also have Armor Sundering. So we're going to then see 3 units of Way Watchers, 1 unit of Wildwood Rangers, just the regular variant in the back line. He's going to have 1 unit of Wild Riders with Shields. And yeah, that's the only Wild Rider on the field. And then to round out the army for leadership, we got a Branch Wraith here on the ground with Penumbral Pendulum, as well as Earthblood and Blessing of the Ancients. We're also going to have the Big Papa himself, Durthu. Now, Durthu is going to have Transformation of Kadan, Blessing of the Ancients, and nothing else. So he's just going to be in here acting like a big old tank summoning Manticores while the Branch Wraith heals him up. So, both players starting on opposite sides of the map, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. Probably just going to see him wheeling around this way while the Lizards wheel around this way and decide when they're comfortable getting into an engagement. But I like both players' armies a lot. I think the Lizardman army is very nice. It has a lot of counter skirmishing to soak up damage with their 40% missile resistance and also dish out that poison damage as well. And they're also relatively fast, so if they poison Wild Riders and they're microed well, they can actually get away from them sometimes. We're going to see a Saurus Old Blood here for any large units, and Durthu, for instance, he'll do well in that combat as long as it's supported properly. Durthu is no chump, though, so you can't take combat with him lightly. On the Wood Elf side, the 3 Way Watchers are going to be absolutely key in this build, and as long as he gets them on top of key targets, he can just elite the important units off the Lizardman roster, like the Solar Engine and the Carnosaur that the Saurus Old Blood is on, but obviously that's going to be very dependent on the opportunities he presents himself and mitigating any incoming skirmishing fire from the Chameleon Skinks or the Solar Engine. Obviously they outrange the Chameleon Skinks quite significantly, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with both of the skirmish contingents being full stock basically. It's all going to be a matter of which engagements just... I guess I was just going to point out something very obvious, so never mind, I'm going to stop myself. Durthu comps equal best comps? Yeah, Durthu's probably my favorite Wood Elf Lord, but the Ancient Tree Man with the Lore of Life is also awesome. Yeah, if Wood Elves get the Solar Engine, Durthu can carry. I would agree with that. Uh-oh, 1 unit of Way Watcher is going to get discovered, and they're going to start targeting the Skink Chief. He's going to dodge those ammos very, very well, and I have to say, I do not like this. Don't waste such valuable ammo on a Skink Chief. He's just going to dodge it all day. Zero, a very talented player, not going to let that happen. It looks like Alrik Ral recognizes that and is going to stop firing now. But he doesn't see the Chameleon Skinks yet. And if the Chameleon Skinks can close the gap, then it just becomes a very cost-effective trade for the Lizardmen. And look at that, another round wasted shooting at the Skink Chief. At this point, just give up on that target, I would say. No, I guess 1 volley successfully connected there. So, going to dish out a nice little bit of damage, but Chameleon Skinks coming in, and the Wood Elves recognizing they don't want any part of that combat, sending out their Eternal Guard with shields. They do have Silver Shields, so 55% of incoming missile fire will probably be parried. Solar Engine continuing to fire into the Way Watchers, and I don't You see, to me, this right now is the engagement the Lizardmen want. They want Way Watchers firing in at a Skink Chief and Chameleon Skinks rather than the Solar Engine, rather than their main Dino Force. So I think right now Alrik Ral needs to stop playing this the way the Lizardmen want it to be played, because 40% of your incoming missile damage is being denied by these Chameleon Skinks. And yeah, I've seen so often where a Wood Elf game plan just kind of goes down the pipes in the mid to late game because they ran out of ammunition on their Way Watchers, and then, you know, they don't have any killing power for those big single entity units. Yeah, this is the engagement the Wood Elves want. They want Chameleon Skink shooting Eternal Garbage Shields in the face and losing out on 50% of that damage. Meanwhile, they're still focusing on that Skink Chief, and their ammo has been used up to about, they only have about 2/3 remaining. Alright, both players playing this very, very patiently. Lizardmen content just to leave their skirmishers up front. I cannot blame them for that. They have the artillery round, so the more distance they create, the better they can do in the long run, as those Solar Engine shots just continue to go down. Wild Riders are coming out now, and the Wild Riders should be able to do good things against these Chameleon Skinks. Chameleon Skinks are going to recognize that they're coming, though, and they're going to turn high talent and run. Looks like we're going to see transformation of Kadan Manticore Summon coming down here for the Wood Elves, and we'll see what happens from here. Yeah, right now, neither player has a very big advantage. I would say the biggest thing of note is just that the Wood Elves have expended a lot of their Way Watcher ammunition. But other than that, you know, neither player really getting too much of an edge over the other. Some good damage being done on the Chameleon Skinks, but Solar Engine getting some nice damage on top of the Way Watchers in return. Alright, Solar Engine's going to start pulling back because the Way Watchers are now in range, and a Manticore is going to dive in on top of it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously the Lizardmen apprehensive about diving in on top of this Manticore, because I think they recognize that once they do that, there's a high probability that they're just going to have Way Watcher fire coming in on top of whatever gets on top of this Manticore. So, only time will tell. Good to see Wild Rangers coming here to counter that Feral Manticore from the Lizardman side, while this Feral Manticore is rampaging and just getting its face stomped in by a Saurus Old Blood. Solar Engine going to fire another round, do some good damage against these Wildwood Rangers, but now the Way Watchers are trying to fire in, and look at this micro from Zero here, just pulling out and negating so much of that missile damage, not letting them get any free hits. Alright, Wild Riders with shields are coming in. Going to be hitting these Saurus Warriors with shields. It actually kind of looks like they were trying to pull through here and then they got caught up on them. Yeah, Feral Manticore is rampaging. Way Watchers getting low on health. One of them's low half health, the other two are closing in there. And yeah, there goes another Manticore summon from the Lizardmen this time. So both factions using both their Manticore summons, and we'll see what happens from here. Wild Riders are diving in, and the Solar Engine's just continuing to get so much value. He's killed 48 models so far, and against Way Watchers, Wild Riders, all that, I think it's a very valuable trade. Wood Elf's Manticore is getting on top of the Skink Chief now. This is what I like to see. A Feral Manticore can take on a Skink Chief, and that's going to be a good trade, and that Skink Chief is not going to be able to get away since he's on foot. And look at the damage go down. Dirthu in here causing terror on top of the Chameleon Skinks. Dryads are chasing them now, and the Wood Elf's starting to get some good momentum, but the Lizardmen's still on top according to the balance of power. And when it comes to the infantry game, I would agree. Like right now, the Lizardmen are really dominating the frontline engagements, and the Wood Elves are going to need to micro their hearts out to win this game, because there's just so much pressure on them right now. These Way Watchers need to find some breathing room to where they can start laying in that suppressive fire and doing the damage they so desperately need to do. Alright, Solar Engine. Ooh, a big volley on the Solar Engine. Solar Engine is not quick enough to avoid these guys. And some good damage coming in from the Way Watchers on top of him. But he's going to start pulling away wisely. And ooh, another big volley connecting on top of him. And Manticore summon. Oh, lucky for the Wood Elves, this Manticore is rampaging, so it won't be able to chase off these Way Watchers. And all things considered, Durthu's still doing quite well for himself. And now it looks like Durthu and the Saurus Oldblood are going to start duking it out. We'll see if Durthu starts fighting back. He just seems like he's trying to move. All right, there it goes. Whip him! Oh, boy. A big old monster mash indeed going on there. But the Way Watchers are going to open fire, and uh-oh, Saurus Oldblood. He's got to be careful. Wissen's Wild Form being cast on top of him, though, going to give him a significant armor buff as well as a weapon damage buff. And he's doing really good work against Durthu right now. But with the Way Watchers nearby, uh-oh, just kidding. The Way Watchers getting chased off by Chameleon Skinks and Saurus Warriors with shields now. So Durthu's in here by himself. You're going to see the Branch Wraith over here that's been in combat with the Saurus Warrior shields. And now the Saurus Oldblood is diving in on top of him, looking like he's going to cause terror. Oh, just barely not going to cause terror. But yeah, right now when it comes to this engagement, the Blizzardmen have a distinct advantage. Why? Because there's so many friendly units giving the surround penalty on top of Durthu and the Branch Wraith. It's just looking really rough for the Wood Elves right now. They're finally going to be able to get enough damage, I think, to rout these Chameleon Skinks, but they still need to take care of these Saurus Warriors, and look how low on ammunition they are running. And unfortunately, it's just they are so far out of position, they're not going to be able to get over here and help Durthu in time, I don't think. Army loss is looking like they are getting close to kicking in, but Warden's a Cithral here, Branch Wraith here, Durthu here. Now he has some more friendly units nearby him, and we'll see if he can't start bringing this fight back into his corner. We are going to see that the Saurus Oldblood is taking quite a lot of damage, but a nice shot from the Solar Engine coming in on top of Durthu, and Durthu is desperately trying to chase off that Saurus Oldblood. Yeah, I think this is going to be a GG. Army loss is kicking in, and well played to both players. But we're going to be seeing lowZero take that victory here. Better luck next time, Alrik Ral. You're a great player. But yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bergerath. I think Way Watchers shouldn't be used in the front line. You send up your front line first, keep the Way Watchers behind. I don't even like to reveal them until I have to. You know, like if you're going to have Way Watchers, just keep them behind your main formation, bring them up slowly but surely, and just punish units when they get out of formation. But I think there was far too much skirmish-to-skirmish engagements going on with these Way Watchers, and the Lizardmen just came out on top with their Chameleon Skinks and Solar Engines. So, a great game.